The final discipline is team building, and this is where we really turn into being entrepreneurs, because this is when we start to work through other people. It's where we bring other people around us in our business. We drive our success through the quality of who we bring around us. And now we have, I think the minute you become an employer, you start to absolutely be an entrepreneur. You may be a solopreneur first, but when you start to get some leverage, and there's some pathways nowadays to leverage. You can have virtual assistants, you can oversee other specialists doing things for you like marketing and accounting, and you can do that, and you can kind of build this team of service providers to you. That's leverage. That's leverage in a business. You don't have to be an employer for you to have a team. So think of that too. Your vendors and your service providers could be a key element of your team. And in fact, your first admin just may be the quarterback of all your vendors. Do you understand what I'm saying? They are just making sure they're doing all the pieces, and you don't have to quarterback them anymore like you did before. And now that person is making you more productive, doing more dollar productive activities that really are building the business. So the thing to remember is that when you start to bring other people on your team, you do two really great things. You empower yourself, you free yourself up to get free time, because otherwise kind of your business can become a prison because you're the only one in it. And when you're gone, nothing happens, and all that issue. So now you can have someone else that's kind of your gatekeeper and the person that does the day-to-day routine of your business, so you can again do the high end, or they can keep it going while you're gone. So all of these things are important about team building, but clearly when you start to bring someone on, you start to become a person who provides opportunities for others. In other words, not only do you serve your clients, you're providing a great work environment for the people you bring on your team. And that's powerful. People want to work for powerful leaders. People want to give their best at a place that has high expectations for them and rewards them for being good at what they do. People want that. So people are looking, talented people want to hang out with talented entrepreneurs and leaders. So understand that you have that, so that can be a mission for you to build a business where it's a great place to work. Now there's a path you follow, it's at the top. It's I do it, we do it, they do it, and I want to make a little note to you what that means. And it's almost like we said, skills, system, standards. When I'm a solopreneur, when I'm pretty much doing everything, it's an I do it business, and there's two things that are parts of that, skills and habits. Okay, those are the two words that are key in the I do it. I need to build the skills, like we're talking about, the 5 disciplines, and maybe my technical skills in chiropractic or electricity or electrician work. I have to build my skills, and I have to make them habits. I need to build good productive work habits, the disciplines. All right, when I move it to we do it, now I'm building a team around me, and now we're working together, and the two things that are key there are systems and synergy. And systems mean that we put in place more and more things where things are handled routinely, and we have an ops manual, or we have a checklist, or we have things that just happen automatically, and we've agreed on what our procedures are. And one of the most important things your first admin can do will be to build systems in your business. Sometimes for us as entrepreneurs, truly, we're unorganizable. We have to face it. Look in the mirror and say, if I try and organize myself, that'll be the ultimate waste of my time. And I, because I just can't help, I screw things up. So that's one of the reasons we get a good administrative, lockstep, everything gets organized person with us, because they overcome what we aren't very good at as high-flying people, hard chargers, making sales happen. And so that's an important step. But when they do, they can install your systems and help. Now the synergy is that everyone knows their role. That's what I mean by synergy. On the team, everyone knows their role. We'll talk more about that later. And then they do it is when you own a business that you're not in. And you'll transition up. And this is where you are the owner, and there's two things that happen there, standards and accountability. How do you get people to do the right thing when you're not there? See, when you're there, your very presence may cajole them, inspire them, threaten them, whatever. You're making things happen because you stir the pot, and you're watching. And they know you're watching. But when you're not there, when the cat's away, the mice will play. So that's always the thing. When I'm there, things are great. When I'm not there, I don't think things are getting done. And the only way you do that is have clear written standards of what is expected of people's behavior and results. how they act and what they do and what they accomplish. And the second thing is that you pay attention to it and hold them accountable to it. So I have standards, and I'm watching, I'm tracking my numbers, and I'm getting reports back, and I'm going to hold you accountable. And if it's not living up to the expectations, I'm going to want to know why. So it isn't that you're being, just an ogre, but it does mean that you're watching from a distance because the numbers are telling you. So that's the path. Just make that star by this. This is the path from going from small, all myself, to big. I have a they. I have a they that are working. All right, the next one is, here's the analytic part. And I know this is going to be the part that you may need help with. So put a kind of a loop between the next two, know the work and job descriptions. Because here's what happens. If you are truly going to empower people in your business to get things done, you need to be very clear on what it is they do. So therefore, you have to be very clear in your business all the tasks that have to happen for it to work. And you would be amazed how you as an entrepreneur can multitask and have checklists in your head and an intuitive sense about all the things that are moving parts in your business, but it's all there in your head. It's why I call it, entrepreneurial intelligence. I mean, it really is. You have that ability to kind of keep track of things almost intuitively from your experience. Well, that isn't going to work through other people. It's because you can't do a mind meld. You can't do a Vulcan mind meld. If you could, you would. But you can't. So here's how you get your wisdom to them. You create a list of all the tasks and functions in your business. What do we have to do when somebody calls? How do we register them for our service? How do we bill them? How do we communicate with them? What kind of mailers go out? Who manages the database? What happens when we get a new client? It's just all these things. And here's the thing I would say. Just make a note to yourself. My first admin builds my ops manual. My first admin builds my ops manual. What that means is they are your record keeper. And they are watching what you do and you're telling them what you do. And they're starting to write it down. So their job is to put in a written, organized form everything that goes on in your business, including to as detailed as they can. Where these forms are, how they're filled out, what the check, you get what I'm saying? How these files are organized. And you get that in writing. Just put that down after this. Get it in writing. It has to be in the physical universe or you don't have it. And then what you start to build, see, one of the brilliant things we did for real estate agents, Gary Keller and I, we called ourselves the Sherpas. They were trying to climb Mount Everest and we're carrying all the oxygen tanks and luggage and laying out the ladders and ropes so that so they can get to the top of Mount Everest. Now they're the climbers and they got to do it, but we're the Sherpas. And so as part of our work, what we did was we took the job of a real estate agent and we organized it into the 171 tasks that a real estate agent has to do. And of course, when we would show them that list, it would blow them away. But it was a list of all the things they had to do to be successful in real estate. And then we organized them into functions. See, underline the word functions. That means what tasks kind of go together. Like anything that would have to do with marketing and attracting business would kind of go together. Sales presentations and salesmanship would go together. Handling administration and finance and record keeping, that would kind of all go together in a function. Staying in touch with communications, or running your technology and making sure your technology works and all that. That would be a set of functions. So that's what we mean by functions. It's where you group tasks into things that are kind of similar. Now we did this and we grouped it into 7 functions. So 171 tasks, 7 functions. But the neat thing is, for great real estate agents, is they now had a track to run on. Because they could see what tasks had to be done. And when they hired their first assistant, they knew which of those 171. They knew the 68 tasks that would go over to their assistant. And it was like, wow, what a relief, right? So this is what you're kind of doing. And I know we did it in a very standardized field. You kind of have to do it in your own. But begin to build this idea. And then what that means is, as you add another person, somewhere, some bunch of tasks go to them. Now that creates, put a star by it, the secret to running great businesses. It's a hidden secret. No one would put it up at the top of the list. They put things like leadership and motivation and hiring great people and all that. No, it's not. It's job descriptions. The key to great businesses are job descriptions. It's a detailed, accurate listing of the things you're responsible for in this business. You own it. If it doesn't get done, it's your problem. If it gets done, you high five for you. On the team, this is what you do. And we'll talk about how you teamify with this. So when you give someone a good job description, here's two things that happen. They get lifted up. They feel empowered. See, rather than giving them this little scrawny list of things you don't want to do, which often we do when we hire that first person, the night before they're showing up, we'll go, oh my God, what am I going to have them do? We write down the 20 things we hate doing. And then we hand it to them, and of course it like sticks, because and we say, oh, here's your job description, and they look at it and go, really? I thought it was like having a real job, not being your gopher on this stuff. So they may do that. I mean, that may be in their job description, those 20 things, but so is a bunch of other stuff that you expect them to do. And you say to them, by the way, here's what I'm counting on you to do. You're a very important player on this team. Here are the things, are there anything on this list you don't know how to do? Well, yeah, this. Great, I'm going to show you how to do it. Or we'll put that in your training program. So now you get them. So what happens is job descriptions, first of all, really help you show people what they want to do, hold them accountable, and get people to work together because now they know each other's job description. In other words, they know who hands off one thing to another. I'm counting on you to do this because when you finish that, I get it, and then I pass it on from there. The second part of this is how you attract talent to your life. And this is a big one. See, you've got to tell the universe what you're looking for. It's another ask. Ask and ye shall receive. If you need a talented person in your business, how are you going to get them? You're going to put an ad on Craigslist? Hello? What are you going to do with 100 answers to that? Screw up your day by reviewing them? Having to, create bad impressions because you don't get back to people? Be careful. This hiring process is really important. And the reason it's important is you don't want many people to talk to. You only want good ones. And the way you do it is you create a missing person report. Underline it. It's a brilliant concept. What that means is there's a person missing in my life. It's my admin. Well, where did they go? I never had one. Well, what do you mean they're missing? I don't have one. I need one. There's an empty slot here in my business. They're missing. Well, what do they look like? Aha. See, there you go. You need to tell people what they look like. Here's what my admin looks like. They're organized, they're computer literate, they're great with customer service, they have a track record of ability of organizing things, they're dependable and mature. I mean, put the words. So write this note to yourself. I need to describe who I'm looking for. They have this much education. They have this certification, if you need a certification. Like in real estate, sometimes we need to hire somebody that's licensed, so they need to have a real estate license, because otherwise they can't talk to consumers about certain things if they're not licensed. So what you're looking for, write these kind of words down. You're looking for the experience they should have, the education they should have, the skills they should have, the attitudes, looking for a positive self-starter, team player. Put it there. That's what you're looking for. Now so what do you do with this, Dave? You send it to selected people. There's two places you're going to find talent, and one would be an employment agency that specializes in that kind of talent, because they will have a conduit of people that are in that realm, and it's worth paying them for that conduit, for them to send you qualified candidates, rather than you advertising and getting. The second thing is I'll tell you the second place, but the second thing you need to remember is all of the talented people currently are happily employed. So who do we hire? The disgruntled unemployed. No, we kind of do. Because we don't know how to go find the ones that are employed and happy, we take the ones that aren't happy and are unemployed and go, oh my God, meant to be. You know, my friend's best sister's husband's friend doesn't have a job, wants a job in technology. Can you believe it? I need someone in technology. God was watching over me. You know, no, no. That's not how you hire people. You hire people by letting people know what you're looking for. So here's what you do. You do your missing person report. Here's the best place to send it, to your database. Say, listen to this, to your database. It's perfect. Because the first, I want you to write this down. It's a formula. Thank you for all the times you've entrusted me with business and for the and for the people you've sent to me. So the first thing is a thank you. Second thing is, because of that, my business is amazingly successful, or my business has grown massively. So first is thank you, second is a statement of success. And therefore I need a world-class person on my team. Therefore I need a world-class person on my team. They need to, and then you start listing your job description. They need to be organized in everything they touch, dependable, intelligent, computer savvy. Name the things you're looking for. At least a college education. And put it down, whatever it is you think is important. And then here's the key phrase. Write this down. It's a key phrase. If you know anyone that fits this description, I'll tell you, that's a power phrase. If you know anyone who fits this description, let me know right away. Now, you're not saying call them or have them call me. Let me know right away. Then you'll work out with them the best way to contact this person. Because here's what's important to understand. People, the reason good people are happily employed, one is because they're good. They're talented, so they're employed. Number two, and what about the happy? Well, the reason they're happy is because they're talented people. They're happy wherever they are. Now, that doesn't mean they wouldn't take another opportunity. Do you understand? They're not a complainer. They're not that person. But however, if a friend came to them and said, we've been talking about the thing that you wanted, you've been thinking of a job where, it was using more of your talents and you had more authority and responsibility. I know this person that runs XYZ business. They're so good, and they've got an opportunity. I think it fits you. See, that's the discussion that's going on. They go, you at least ought to talk to her. So that's where you're getting in behind the screen of who's already hired. You got that? It's powerful, because your key is going to be getting talent. Your key, bottom, your job is going to be attracting talent. Now, here's the final thing I want to hit. How do you run a great team? Here's get your mental image right. Write that phrase next to the top. Get your mental image right of what it means for you to lead a team. And here's the key. Most of us have the wrong image. Most of us are in business for ourselves because we don't like having a boss. And the reason we don't like having a boss is because we had bad ones. So when we think of a boss, we think of the bad ones. That's our role model. Right? It's like abused children. What do they do to their children? They abuse them. It's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle. It's a terrible one. That's why we have to have intervention. But the point, because they parent like their parents parented. And I know it sounds really weird, because as they're a kid, they probably didn't like the way they were being treated, but then they become a parent and they do the same thing. So here's the thing. This is really subtle, but it's important. Do not be a boss. Do not even use the word boss. It's my company, I'm the boss. Sorry, you're going to screw it up. What you're going to say is, it's my company, it's my team, and I'm the coach. Underline the word coach. See, the mental image to have is the best coach you can think of. Now, are coaches demanding? Absolutely. But they're not tyrannical and ignorant. And they don't treat people badly, because they got to get performance. So the key about a coach, and I know we have a lot of things about life coaches, and people like to call themselves a coach nowadays, but I think most people that call themselves coaches are consultants. And the reason is, a coach is tied to the outcome. If I'm the coach of a major college basketball team, and that basketball team doesn't win, what's going to happen? going to lose my job, or if I'm a professional coach. So a coach is tied to the outcome. But their relationship is one of mentorship. So what that means is, if I'm a coach of I like the best thing in a small business is think of yourself as a coach of a major college basketball team, because you'll probably have about 10 people, maybe 5 to 10 people right away. So you're kind of at that basketball team level. You're not a football team. Someday you might get there. But so the point is that what you're doing is there's 3 things you do as a coach. You recruit. That's important to understand. If you're a college coach and you don't recruit, you won't win. You've got to get talent on your team. Well, same with you. So the first priority you have is I got to recruit talent. Second thing is I've got to get them in the right position. So I got to have my point guard, and I've got to have my rebounder, and I've got to have my defensive stopper, and I've got to have my three-point shooter, and they all know because they're different sets of skills. So now I have to take the talent and put them in the right slot in my business given their skills. All right? Then I have to get them to work as a team and shoot for a championship. Play to win. Write that down. I got to get them to play to win. Not win individually, win as a team. I'm not trying to create a superstar that's going to go to the NBA because they'll hog the ball. I'm creating a team that performs well. So keep that mental image of being a coach and use that as the way you guide. And you might want to read some of the leadership books by Coach K and those kind of guys, because it's much more relevant than the leadership stuff you'll get out of corporate writers. It just is, because they complicate it way too much. Next thing is, underline it, set high expectations. We're building a championship team. I expect championship behavior. We're all going to win at a high level. Then demand it. Reading a book right now about Jeff Bezos, and I wouldn't recommend him as a leadership model, but I will tell you, that guy has high expectations, and he has driven a company to do miracles. I mean, the problems Amazon went through early in their time, and when they were when the dot-com bust happened and all this stuff, I mean, I'm telling you, that if you read the story of how many times they almost failed and went out of business, and now here they are, this massive, massive, unstoppable machine that serves those of us that buy a lot from them, serves us very well. And they've mastered the systems. Well, the point is, though, his high expectations and standards, and he held people accountable to it. Keller Williams would not have become #1 in the country if it wasn't for Mo Anderson and Gary Keller. Gary Keller holding standards of drive, meet big goals, and Mo Anderson holding standards of values and ethics in the company, creating a heart. He was the mind, she was the heart. So that takes us to the next one, which is underline it, and you want to build a self-reinforcing culture in your business. Write this down. Our list of values. What are the 7 or 10 things we value most in our company? Rules of engagement. How do we treat each other? What are the 5 ways we treat each other? In Keller Williams, just to use as a model, we had a thing called the Y4C2Ts, which was an acronym for the 9 principles of engagement, the way we treat each other in that company. And I will tell you, that Y4C2Ts keeps getting repeated. People say, hey, win-win or no deal, right? That was it. That was one of the standards. Or it was, together everyone achieves more. Or it's integrity. Remember, integrity, do the right thing. So we had these standards. So you want to create in your company a set of values, a value system, and a ways we treat each other on the team. And some of them can be very tough. We show up, we suit up, we play. We play hurt. We don't let someone else down. Someone else needs our help, we back them up. I don't care, you put the rules in. And then the final thing is synergize. You want to get people to work together, to really feel that power of working together. And that's why you share the job descriptions, and you share the org chart, and you share the who has what, and then how the client gets handed off from one to another, and we support each other. That's the game of team building. So let me ask you this. What's the first discipline? Thinking, okay. What's the next one? What's the next one? What's the next one? What's the next one? Team building. So you got it. Good for you. No, remember, see, I would tell you, I've been in classes, if we didn't have that stack and the way you memorize that, they'd be gone, wouldn't they? You'd be struggling to find it. Now you got them, and you got them in order. So those are the 5 disciplines.